Took to the road this weekend. When I got to where I was going, it was not what I expected. Today, we're going to talk about on the road. After the intro, let's get it.
You have one life. You got a calling and a purpose. Welcome to the Witness to Power podcast, the show that encourages and inspires you to be who God has called you to be. I'm your host and digital evangelist, Ashley Sims.
What's going on, everybody? This weekend, we took a little road trip. Now, we went to a conference in Atlanta. And this conference I thought was just a business conference. It, helped you if you want to present your own conference. That's what my pre-frame was. But then I started looking up the information. I was like, this don't seem like just a conference to build a business. Well, when we got there, I found out it was much more than that. And no, it was a great conference, no doubt. But sometimes when you pre-frame to go somewhere, you have a mind set for one thing, but I got something else. My wife signed up for a speaker's training, Jeremy Anderson's Next Level Speaking Academy. And they had somebody on there named Coach Crump. And he had a conference this weekend. And, well, guess what? It was a conference, a men's conference. It was called the King Conference. So right then and there, you knew it was just not talking about issues that men have. And to be a man is more about taking dominion over what's yours and how to protect that information and go from boy to men. Because if you know anything about anything, if you're a man, you know that there are certain unwritten rules in the land. But we're doing this thing God's way. So going to this conference, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to learn this business concept, how to put on our conference ourselves. I'm going to learn some more business things. And mind you, I get in there and I'm like, whoa, church conference? That's what I'm thinking when I hear men conference. I said, man, I can go to church for that. I don't have to travel all these miles and stay in this hotel for that. But nevertheless, we get down there, because I said, you know what? Even though it was only about a 3.5 hour trip, I said, I don't want to go on the conference on that same day, drive down on that same day, and then turn around, have to drive back that same night. So we ended up getting in a hotel stay for 2 nights. So we went up there that Friday, went to the conference on Saturday, and then we checked out on Sunday, and then we drove back. So being at this conference, it reminded me of something that we should always understand is what God has for us and not what we have for ourselves. Being in this position and coming to this place made me realize something I always talk about from time to time, and it's getting exposed to new information and going to different places and meeting different people. It shows you a whole lot of things you do not know yet and you don't understand, because what we can do from time to time, we get used to that little circle of influence that we in. And then we're thinking that we all right and we know this information. Yes, there are things that were spoken about other speakers that didn't resonate. That's going to happen. But I always say this, if you get one thing that changes your perspective, that's enough. You can go for days on that one thing, unlocking doors to new levels and new heights. So Coach Chris Crump, or Coach Crumpler, I never heard of this guy before. The night that my wife was on a training where Jeremy Anderson coaching program. So let me give you a little background. These guys are running the same circle as Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. And so Jeremy Anderson, Next Level Speaking, which I'm a shout out for. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I just, when something's good and helpful, then I think you need to be exposed to it. Just like I was exposed to new information that Coach Crump was talking about. It's some deep stuff to someone who just coming into this information. Someone who always has this information, they take it lightly, but it was things he pointed out in history that connects to things, what happened to the man in the house to now. I was like, yo, that connects a lot of dots. And then Jeremy Anderson has some nice information that you can chew on. So I would say to you, sometimes you got to take a road trip somewhere. So we were on the road this weekend. We got a lot of great nuggets that we can build on and go forward. And being that this was a conference, a men conference, it also connected to women. And it was kind of funny. It was a lot of the women who were in the course brought their husbands. And we all had most of us had the same mindset. Oh, we thought we were here for them. But actually, it was a training for us. But guess what? In this training, it connected everybody, the family. The information is for everybody. It was some great information. I like to thank God that we went. I like to thank God that for these men who decided that this was needed. And mind you, his birthday was the next day. And based on his testimony, he was like, people were asking him, what do he want for his birthday? And he's like, I would like to give back. This was what he wanted to give back because he's been through a lot of stuff. His backstory is pretty awesome. Going through this conference, I want to remind you of your own life. You got to get exposed to new information that helps grow you, not information that tears you down. Information that reminds you of who you are in Christ and who you are as a man and as a woman. There's certain things in life that I see just growing up here in America that would tear you down, will also make you feel like you're less than. There are certain things that make you have a negative mindset and feed you with information that will push you in a direction that makes you forget who you are. We got to understand, we got to remind it through the kingdom of God, the principles of God, where we're going and where we're headed, and that we're more than just people. More than just people who get a job, more than just people who get an education, more than people who just live, buy things, go through debt, go through all these things in life and die. There's a big vision that God has put us here to do. And sometimes you just got to get on the road and go to one of these conferences somewhere, go to another city, go there to get an education, go there to get strengthened, and get information that's going to build you. Because sometimes we take trips and vacation, they ended up sucking the energy out of us and feel like, man, I didn't gain anything from it. I didn't even rest. But at this conference, I gained a lot of insight and a lot of things so that I can move forward. And being in a room, let me tell you, with people on a mindset to grow and to build, that's nothing like that. So that's the connection that you need. Connected to people we never even met before. And we connected like we knew each other from day one. Why? Here's what we have a lot in common. We all are God-fearing people, and we all have a mindset to build. And we all have a purpose that we know we're driving on. And they had some breakout sessions that were pretty awesome. We got a chance to just speak what's on our heart. What did we feel? What did we get at the conference? And then in another breakout session, we just got to look at our spouse and talk about some things. When you get exposed to new information, when you meet new people and you go to different places, it reminds you you have a lot to do, especially when people are ahead and doing something that you want to do down the road. So I just want to do this special episode. If you listen to my podcast last week, I had an error happen. It's called system check. I didn't check the system and ended up recording an episode that didn't make it to the podcast. And I told you this week I was going to re-record it. I haven't done it yet at this point. I want to just share this information because we went on a road trip, went to a conference in Atlanta. I tell you what, it was great. We made a trip out of it. You know, because we could have went down there and turned around the same day. But nah, as you get older and get wisdom, you say, I want to not think about the traffic getting down there and being tired. And then after the conference, being tired and driving back. We made an experience. We went into the city, went and eat, and, took a few pictures. So we had a great time connecting as a husband and wife team. So if you want to level up, step outside your comfort zone. Go to one of these conferences of one of these motivational speakers or business conference, somewhere that you're working on in your life. Because we all have a purpose. You want to always be building something. You don't want to feel like you're left behind. And you want to be exposed to new information that's going to get you to the next level quicker. But yeah, you can learn this information on your own, but it's going to take a lot longer. And you're going to run into some hiccups along the way. It don't hurt to have a coach. So I appreciate you, Chris Crump. It was my first time meeting you at this conference. Keep building, keep doing what you're doing. And shout out Jeremy Aronson for the program, the Next Level Speakers Program. Man, my wife is in it, and I hear sometimes I listen into some of the things that you're teaching for what we paid for. Man, it was wow. Sometimes I want to digress a little bit. I want to talk about this. I know some of you listeners haven't took the entrepreneur walk, but I've purchased programs in the past, and they always say, man, this information is worth more than blah, blah, blah. Just fluff it up the price. Well, I tell you, this information in the Next Level Speaking Academy is worth every penny. So appreciate you, Jeremy. Appreciate you, Chris. I had a great time. Me and my wife had a great time. We met a lot of people, met some new friends, got some connections, and we're going to build. On top of this, I will remind you, get exposed to new information that's going to build you. Meet new people that's got a great upper level mindset, and go to different places so you can get exposed to new information, new things, and see things differently. So when you go back to what you were doing, you're like, oh man, I need to level up. And that's what it was all about in this men's conference. Basically protecting what you have and building something and understanding who you are and moving forward. Reach one, reach many, be blessed. The next time, have an awesome week.
Have you ever felt that you've not lived up to your full potential? Or maybe you felt that you have no idea what you truly want out of life, but you feel you can do more than what you're doing now. Then I have the book for you, 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose, to help you shake off the stagnation and fogginess into doing your purpose. Go to walkinpurposenow.com. Yes, that's walkinpurposenow.com and grab your copy today and walk in the purpose that you know is designed for you. Remember, I believe in you. So go and grab your copy of 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose and live the purpose that I know you have within you to live.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Witness the Power Podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.witnessthepowerpodcast.com. And also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And be sure to check out the Witness the Power fan page on Facebook. Have a great week.